I'm really excited to start Terah's Reviews channel. So welcome. This channel is about reviews, and I'm going to do book reviews, and I hope to also do reviews of places I've been, places I'll go in the future, maybe layer in some restaurants and resorts, hotels, dining experiences, maybe even some movies. Today I'm going to be reviewing Meet Me at Midnight by Jessica Pennington. And let's get started. Meet Me at Midnight is a young adult novel. It was really refreshing. I will say that I was really surprised throughout the book, and stay tuned because I'm going to tell you why. So the characters in this book are mainly Asher and Sydney. And Sydney is a girl that is kind of, I'd say, just for simpler terms, kind of tomboyish in the ways of not really like into romance, but she also has an overactive mind where she overthinks things in life in general. But when it comes to like romance, she's just not there yet. I don't know if it's because it's her age or what. I feel like in the book at some point the age is explained, but I honestly don't remember. I know that they have both just graduated high school and they both are going to be attending the same college, both on scholarships for swimming. So at least I believe they both have scholarships for swimming, but I know they're both going to be on the swim teams at their colleges, at their college. And Sydney, what can I say about Sydney? She's not a difficult to like character, but if you're not that kind of person, I guess she's not as easy to connect with because she makes choices and decisions that you may or may not relate to. And some of the choices and decisions that she made reminded me of myself in my youth. And it's just one of those things where you don't want to get your heart broken, and so you'd rather avoid the situation or push that person away or make that person hate you instead of having to suffer the heartache and the heartbreak. And that's kind of how I would describe her. She has like a hit track record of only dating guys for like 10 days or something like that. And Asher is the complete opposite in a lot of ways. He's really the romantic gentleman. He's the guy that kind of people gravitate to, and I wouldn't say he's the life of the party, but he's definitely somebody that sticks out and is one of the cool kids and just really likable and easy to get along in social settings and situations. Whereas Sydney's definitely not comfortable in social settings and social situations that involve multiple people. She's more of like a one-on-one friend kind of person. And at the beginning of the story, it's really just about the two of them after 6 years of their families renting summer homes next to each other, and growing up throughout their teens, spending summers together. And you kind of get a little backstory of that both of their moms, I believe, attended the same college and maybe were roommates or something like that, and have remained lifelong friends, and their families do a lot together. And the husbands still work, So it's like trying to wrap your mind around how can people afford to spend, 2 months in the summer away from their own homes, but it makes sense when you find out about what the parents, jobs are. So that's just, a little bit of like the beginning of the book and a little bit of how it begins and starts. And the first summer, they don't start with. They start with the final summer, or the author starts the book at the final summer after they've graduated high school, when in the perspective that you're reading from is either Asher's or Sydney's. So you're reading, not just what they say in conversation with other people, but you're also getting a glimpse of like what their thinking is and what their thoughts are when you're reading from their perspectives. And Sydney, you can tell she's got a lot of hostility built up in her, and you don't know why. And at the very beginning of the book, I think I was like maybe 50 pages in, and I had already laughed out loud like a handful of times. I was really surprised. Here I'm thinking I'm just going to get some young teen romance type of book, and it's so much more than that. The author has a really witty writing style that I just found surprising and really well written. It's like she writes with wit, with ease. So it makes it, the humor come across really naturally. So there's a lot of conflicts in the story also that are layered throughout, and that really keeps the pages turning and you wanting to find out what's going on. As I said, the story doesn't begin with the first summer, so you kind of get a couple flashbacks in her memory and thoughts of the first summer, but there's a conflict that must have occurred that first summer that isn't resolved, and you don't find out really until the story all ties together at the end. So there's like multiple layers of conflicts above and beyond this being a young adult novel, really about two teenagers that have a really unique and interesting friendship and relationship. And one of the unique things that I think is great to this book is that they have these pranks that they pull on each other, and it's just another layer of the story that just makes it unique and refreshing. And like I said earlier, they both are swimmers, and they're at a lake house that they spend together in the summers, so they end up, training together in the lake and swimming and kind of helping each other along. And they, spend more time together, and they develop some feelings for each other. And spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, from here on, definitely if you don't want to hear any spoilers, don't keep watching. But they end up really not only developing feelings for each other, but realizing that they've always had feelings for each other. And that I think that first summer that they met, when I think they were around 13 or something like that, that they really, really had something more there the whole time. And you find out later in the story of an occurrence with a neighbor girl that Sydney witnesses between Asher and the neighbor girl, and that's one of the conflicts that occurs at that first summer that kind of gets wrapped up and tied up and nicely explained and kind of panned out and figured out at the end of the book. And even though I'm sharing some spoilers, I definitely don't want to ruin it for anyone that still wants to read the book. Ultimately, I think that this story really just shows how two people can be very different, and yet that opposites attract kind of scenario can really pull out the good in each other. And that's where I just really think that the enduring quality of their relationship is, whether they're friends or romantic, they are pulling out the better in each other. And it really, really shows when they actually take that romantic step with each other. And that's when you can really see that Sydney pulls out the good in Asher and really pulls out some things in him that he maybe didn't realize or didn't see himself, and vice versa with Sydney. I feel like Asher really pulls out, maybe he makes some jabs and points out some of her quirks and faults, but he also, you know, has a way of pulling out her good qualities and maybe helping her learn from some of her quirks, that some of that stuff she can work on and kind of let go and loosen up. And she's definitely super high strung, and I think that he helps kind of put her at ease in ways that she never was previously. I will spoiler alert right now and just say that I really was glad that the story played out the way it did. It was more realistic than to just be a, you know, end of summer happy ever after kind of thing, because that's not reality and that's not how real life works. And I like that even though this is a young adult novel, that the author, you know, layers some, you know, reality into situations. And a lot of the drama and things is what really happens in relationships, whether you're young or old. And I really like the nostalgia of it too. It can make you go back to thinking of your first love or your first romantic experiences and the butterflies and the feelings, and how the first time that you experience something like that, how the first time you experience anything, whether it's the first time you have a bite of a pie or something and your taste buds come alive, it's no different than when you experience, you know, true love and romantic love. It's like the first time is really when you just feel all those sparks and butterflies and tingles and all the good stuff. And I really like that she is able to make that come across, as well as giving you some nibbles of that teenage like lust layered with that falling in love. But she keeps it G-rated, I feel like, or not G-rated, but she keeps it, you know, young adult rated. It doesn't get to like 50 Shades of Grey level with eroticism. And it also keeps your mind open, because she doesn't really take you to where they for sure have had sex. You really aren't for sure, because she leaves it kind of open to your own imagination. And I feel like she does that on purpose, to not delve into sex scenes and taint the young adult novel to that type of level, but it also leaves you open for your own interpretation, whether or not that they do take things to that level or not. So I think it's just like, I just keep saying it's refreshing. It really is refreshing, especially after this book was released in 2021, after the 2020 pandemic. And it's just been great to take a break from all the chaos of the world and just read something that makes you laugh and makes you feel nostalgic. And if you actually are a youth and you're a young adult and you're reading it, it can maybe give you inspiration for what could be and what love can be like. You know, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be bumps in the road and you're going to have your moments. But when you find that person that you bring out the best in them and they bring out the best in you, that's when it's really something to cherish. So thank you, Jessica Pennington, for writing a nice, refreshing novel. It's been great to read. It's summer, July 2021 for me right now, and I would definitely say it's a great summer read. It's just refreshing. So enjoy, and please let me know your thoughts and comments below. What did you think about the book? If you were going to rate it on a 1 to 5 star level, what would you rate it at? I really save 5 stars for things that I think are phenomenal. I did think this book was great, but I gave it 4 stars, a strong 4 stars. And I think that's partly because I'm definitely more of a mystery thriller type reader and suspense. And so I'm not sure that, I think my 4 stars would be a 5-star rating if I were just a young adult reader. It's definitely a great read, a great book for the type of genre that it is. And I hope that you pick up a copy and read it and enjoy it. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again for more reviews to come, books and otherwise.